True crime stories often captivate audiences because they reveal the darker side of human ambition and the staggering lengths people will go for wealth and power. Throughout history, certain underworld figures have accumulated vast fortunes, sometimes rivaling legitimate corporate empires. Their operations sprawled across continents, exploiting political loopholes, corrupt officials, and global smuggling networks to remain one step ahead of the law. As we delve into the lives of the richest gangsters and cartel leaders of all time, we'll uncover the extraordinary strategies they used to enrich themselves and the surprising impacts they had on local economies, politics, and even popular culture. Al Capone, the infamous Chicago kingpin. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1899, Alphonse Capone would become one of America's most notorious figures by the late 1920s. He began his ascent under the mentorship of Johnny Torrio, eventually taking over Torrio's bootlegging rackets in Chicago during the Prohibition era. By the age of 26, Capone was reputedly earning more than $100 million annually from illegal alcohol distribution, gambling dens, and other vices. His power extended across the city, helped in part by bribery and a tight-knit network of loyal enforcers. Despite frequent clashes with rival gangs, he was often viewed by some Chicagoans as a modern-day Robin Hood for donating to local charities and soup kitchens. One chilling turning point in his criminal career was the 1929 St. Valentine's Day Massacre, a brutal event that left several of Capone's rivals dead in a Chicago garage. Although he was never officially linked to the murders, this incident further cemented his fearsome reputation nationwide, causing public outcry and intensified law enforcement pressure. Ironically, Capone's downfall was not triggered by violent offenses, but by federal tax evasion charges in 1931, which landed him in prison. Later suffering from declining health, including complications from syphilis, Capone retired to his Florida estate after his release, passing away in 1947. His story remains a cautionary tale of how vast criminal empires can crumble under relentless government scrutiny and the simple power of accounting laws. Pablo Escobar, the Colombian king of cocaine. Pablo Escobar, born in 1949 in Rio Negro, Colombia, rose to prominence in the late 1970s as the leader of the Medellín Cartel. By the mid-1980s, he and his associates controlled an estimated 80% of the global cocaine market. This unrivaled influence earned Escobar staggering wealth. Forbes magazine listed him among the world's billionaires in the late 1980s. His empire reached across North and South America and beyond, demonstrating a level of organization and sophistication rarely seen in the underworld. Escobar's strategy of plata o plomo, silver or lead, forced politicians, journalists, and law enforcement officials to choose between taking his money or facing lethal consequences. Despite being widely feared, Escobar managed to garner local support by funding housing, sports facilities, and community projects. Yet the violence stemming from his reign was unrelenting, culminating in a host of tragedies throughout Colombia. A watershed moment was his imprisonment in his own luxurious facility, La Catedral, in 1991, which he used as a personal hideout more than a traditional jail cell. After a dramatic prison escape in 1992, authorities launched an intense manhunt, culminating in his death during a rooftop confrontation in Medellín on December 2, 1993. Escobar's life underscores the precarious balance between criminal philanthropy, personal ambition, and rampant violence, an enduring legacy that left an indelible mark on Colombia's history. Amado Carrillo Fuentes, El Señor de los Cielos. Amado Carrillo Fuentes earned his moniker, El Señor de los Cielos, the Lord of the Skies, by commanding a large fleet of private aircraft to smuggle cocaine into the United States. He initially worked for the Guadalajara cartel under the tutelage of Miguel Ángel Félix Gallardo before taking over the Juárez cartel in the 1990s. By utilizing sophisticated aviation routes and partnering with various factions, Carrillo Fuentes rose to become one of Mexico's most powerful and wealthiest drug lords, dominating a key trafficking corridor into the U.S. In addition to amassing billions in alleged profits, his strategic alliances with Colombian cartels facilitated a constant flow of narcotics across international borders. However, his ambition also came with high stakes. On July 4, 1997, Carrillo Fuentes died under mysterious circumstances while undergoing plastic surgery in Mexico City, presumably seeking a new identity to evade law enforcement. Rumors of corruption, conspiracy, and hidden bank accounts continue to swirl around his demise. Even in death, the Lord of the Skies story symbolizes the extent to which cunning, power, and immense wealth can quickly turn into a lethal liability in the world of organized crime. Griselda Blanco, the godmother of cocaine. Griselda Blanco, born in Cartagena, Colombia, around 1943, made her name in the 1970s and 1980s as one of the most prominent and feared figures in the illicit drug trade. She operated extensively from Medellín to Miami, forging smuggling routes that became a blueprint for the later cartels of the cocaine cowboy era. Allegedly responsible for pioneering sophisticated trafficking methods, Blanco also amassed a fortune that reportedly soared into the millions. Some even suggest billions, while establishing a near-mythical reputation for brutal enforcement. Known for her keen business savvy, she was rumored to have designed custom lingerie specifically to hide drugs from law enforcement. Despite her fearsome reputation, Blanco managed to avoid capture for many years, often relocating between Colombia and the U.S. Her 1985 arrest led to imprisonment in the United States, yet she is said to have managed parts of her empire from behind bars. Released from U.S. custody and deported to Colombia in 2004, Blanco met her end in Medellín in 2012, reportedly the victim of a motorcycle drive-by, a fate not uncommon in the violent drug world she helped build. Her life stands as a testament to the ruthless power and influence a single individual can wield. Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán, the master of tunnels. Joaquín Guzmán Loera, famously dubbed El Chapo, was born in the rural Mexican state of Sinaloa in 1957. Rising through the ranks of the Guadalajara cartel, he eventually co-founded the Sinaloa cartel, recognized by many as one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations in the world. El Chapo became infamous for ingenious smuggling methods, particularly his elaborate tunneling systems beneath the U.S.-Mexico border, which showcased the cartel's engineering prowess and capacity for covert operations. Over the years, his net worth reportedly reached into the billions, with widespread corruption helping him keep law enforcement at bay. Guzman's legendary prison escapes made headlines worldwide. In 2001, he slipped out of a Mexican maximum security prison, some claim hidden in a laundry cart. And in 2015, he escaped again via a mile-long, fully lit and ventilated tunnel that snaked beneath the prison. These dramatic breakouts heightened his outlaw mystique and further cemented the Sinaloa cartel's fearsome reputation. However, his final capture in 2016 led to extradition and a high-profile trial in the United States. In 2019, he received a life sentence plus 30 years in a federal supermax prison, an end befitting one of the most hunted cartel leaders in modern history. Meyer Lansky, the financial wizard. Unlike the more flamboyant figures on this list, Meyer Lansky was known for blending into the background, earning him the nickname Mob's Accountant. Born in Grodno, then part of the Russian Empire, in 1902, he immigrated to the United States and soon forged alliances with key mobsters such as Charles Lucky Luciano and Bugsy Siegel. Lansky's brilliance lay in his deep understanding of finance, which he applied to launder money and expand gambling operations in places like Las Vegas and pre-revolutionary Cuba. He was largely credited with forming the National Crime Syndicate, a confederation of criminal organizations that spanned major American cities. During his peak in the mid-20th century, Lansky's personal fortune was the subject of intense speculation. Some believed he held well over $300 million hidden in offshore accounts. Arrested and charged multiple times, he managed to evade long-term prison sentences, partly due to the elusive nature of his financial transactions. In the early 1970s, Lansky fled to Israel seeking refuge under its law of return, but was eventually deported back to the U.S. He passed away in 1983 in Miami Beach, Florida, never having served a serious prison term. His story highlights how an understated demeanor coupled with financial genius can be just as formidable as armed muscle in the criminal underworld. Carlos Later, the showy co-founder of the Medellín Cartel. Carlos Later, born in Armenia, Colombia in 1949, skyrocketed to prominence in the late 1970s and early 1980s as one of the co-founders of the Medellín Cartel, alongside Pablo Escobar. He was instrumental in setting up complex transportation networks for cocaine, famously using Norman's Cay in the Bahamas as a refueling station and fortress to expedite smuggling into the United States. Later's eccentric tastes included public adoration of John Lennon and disturbing fascination with Adolf Hitler, revealing a bizarre blend of ideologies that only intensified his notoriety. Despite earning millions of dollars from the cartel's operations, Later's flashy lifestyle and outspoken nature drew unwanted attention from U.S. authorities. In 1987, he was captured and extradited to the United States, facing drug trafficking and racketeering charges. After cooperating with federal agents, his sentence was eventually reduced. Later's story is a testament to how brazen self-promotion can accelerate a criminal's downfall. His island fortress once served as a staggering display of power, but it quickly became a glaring target for law enforcement. His downfall mirrored the broader crackdown on the Medellín Cartel, which, despite its immense fortune, eventually succumbed to pressure from authorities in both Colombia and the U.S. Frank Lucas, the Harlem drug lord. Frank Lucas, born in 1930 in North Carolina, made his way to the streets of Harlem, New York in the 1960s. By the early 1970s, Lucas had gained notoriety for distributing exceptionally pure heroin, marketed under the brand name Blue Magic. He claimed to have bypassed traditional Mafia middlemen, instead forging a direct connection with suppliers in Southeast Asia. This method enabled him to rake in profits on a massive scale, giving him lavish tastes, from mink coats to luxury properties scattered across the tri-state area. However, Lucas's success eventually attracted the attention of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, predecessor to the DEA, and his operation came crashing down in 1975 following a major sting. A sensational claim later emerged that he used coffins of U.S. servicemen to smuggle heroin out of Vietnam, though the veracity of this account remains controversial. After his arrest, Lucas famously cooperated with law enforcement, which led to the conviction of numerous corrupt officers and underworld figures. His legacy includes being both a formidable drug kingpin and an unlikely informant, a duality that underscores the complex moral terrain of drug trafficking in America's inner cities. Big Meech, Demetrius Flannery of the BMF. Demetrius Big Meech Flannery, born in 1968, co-founded the Black Mafia family with his brother Terry during the late 1980s in Detroit. By the early 2000s, BMF had transformed into a vast drug trafficking operation spanning multiple states, reportedly funneling thousands of kilograms of cocaine across the nation. The group earned notoriety not only for its business acumen, employing sophisticated money laundering schemes, but also for its influence on hip-hop culture. Celebrities and rap artists were often seen at BMF's lavish gatherings in Atlanta, blurring lines between entertainment and illicit enterprise. Big Meech's downfall came in 2005 when the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, and local authorities conducted a series of raids that culminated in the arrests of key BMF members. During subsequent trials, it was revealed that the organization had cultivated a complicated web of front businesses, from record labels to promotional companies. Sentenced to 30 years in prison, Big Meech remains emblematic of how modern gangs leverage celebrity connections and media hype to sustain large-scale criminal undertakings. Even behind bars, his name continues to echo through popular culture, reflecting both the allure and the ultimate consequences of high-stakes illegal activity. Collectively, these crime lords amassed fortunes that could rival Fortune 500 CEOs, utilizing everything from ingenious smuggling routes to sophisticated money laundering tactics. Their backgrounds vary. Some started in impoverished neighborhoods, others found their start under the mentorship of existing crime syndicates. But they all shared an uncanny ability to navigate corruptible systems and maintain fearsome reputations. This legacy underscores an uncomfortable truth. When financial gain is seemingly limitless, morality and legality can become afterthoughts in the relentless pursuit of power. Law enforcement agencies worldwide have evolved to counter these well-funded, adaptable organizations, employing advanced surveillance, financial tracking, and international cooperation. Yet these figures remain cultural icons, immortalized in films, documentaries, and even local folklore. Perhaps most fascinating is the duality many displayed: public charities and cunning violence, lavish lifestyles and stark prison cells. As you reflect on their lives, consider the broader societal implications and the human cost behind these empires. Their stories serve as a stark reminder that in the criminal underworld, fortunes can be amassed quickly, but the downfall is often swift and unforgiving.